Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
Well, lads and lassies, grab yourself a refreshing beverage, pull up a chair because it's time for another episode of the Soul Sessions. I am, of course, your host, Soul, but with me today, she is Dubai's first homegrown wrestling talent. It is herself, Roxxy. Welcome to the Soul Sessions.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Roxy, it's my pleasure. Roxy, I would love to know, as I've said before with many guests, and I will continue to say for the everlasting future, every guest has a story and every story has a beginning. Roxy, how did your story begin as a wrestling fan?
Okay, so I used to watch wrestling when I was really young with my cousins, with my brothers, but at some point they stopped watching it, and I guess I just never looked for it again. But in high school, I think I was in 7th grade, my friend was over at my house because we were preparing for something for school. And she was like, do you want to watch this with me? And it was wrestling. I believe it was matches with AJ Lee, Paige, and the Bella Twins. And then ever since then, I've just wanted to watch wrestling and then become a wrestler myself.
Oh, wow. Hey, fair play. They're all amazing women wrestlers in themselves. Obviously, the Bella Twins have done amazing things. AJ Lee. And then there's Paige, obviously Saraya, UK legend with her and her family of the Knights, currently signed to AEW. With Saraya, Roxy, do you think Saraya is one of the pillars of modern day women's wrestling?
I believe so, yeah, because I remember that her era with AJ and the Bella Twins was something that kind of started a revolution, right? It was give divas a chance, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like the kind of character that she has that pushes not having to fit in is a really cool message.
Of course, absolutely. Every individual is unique. We've got to take that uniqueness about us and let it grow and flourish. And then you get so many great individuals that can now look up to the next generation of individuals, allow that uniqueness to thrive. And we keep on that spell of uniqueness. Now, obviously, someone you mentioned there as well, AJ Lee, she was great in her time, obviously having to retire due to injuries. Her husband, though, CM Punk's back in the WWE. And maybe there's a chance we could see AJ Lee come back. She's worked on the TV show Heels. And if she comes back at the Rumble number 30 in that theme, I won't lie, it's a banger of a theme. It may be on my gym playlist. Or deny, it's hidden there right at the bottom of the playlist. I want to know, though, if you could see AJ Lee come back, is there any particular women wrestlers on the WWE roster right now you would love to see her have a match with?
The thing is, I have one wrestler that I would love to see her wrestle, but she's not in WWE right now.
Oh, who? Give me details. Who?
It's Mercedes, of course.
Mercedes Mone, the CEO herself. Now, obviously, yeah, Mercedes as well. Obviously, former Sasha Banks achieved so much in there. That Iron Man match with her and Bayley in NXT, I think a lot of people look to as the real acceptance of pure women's wrestling within the WWE. But she's now in AEW doing some interesting things right now. Obviously, she's announced she's going to have a match at Double or Nothing for the TBS Championship. But with Mercedes herself, I feel like she is very much an idol, does make great things within Star Wars, obviously with the Mandalorian series. But with wrestling, a lot of people look up to her as well. Obviously, 4 horsewomen with Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley. But with Mercedes, Roxy, what is it about Mercedes that really appeals to you as a women's wrestler?
I think her backstory and her love for the sport itself and how open she is with that. And the fact that she went through this, I don't know what word to use, but remember when she took a break because of her mental health, and she knew that she needed to take a break from something that she loved so deeply. And I feel like that's something that everyone is very scared to do. And the fact that she was able to admit that and fix her problems and be happy again, find herself and put herself first, I think that's the strongest thing that I find about her, and some I don't know how to say it properly. I'm sorry, but I just I love hearing her stories about wrestling and hearing how much it makes her happy, because it's like I hear how I talk about it. For example, if I talk about it to my friends, it's exactly how I would talk about it, and that it makes me feel so seen when I hear it from someone like her.
Absolutely, indeed, as well. Mercedes, when she did take that week break, I believe it was after WrestleMania 36, and then coming back and, had the great run with Bailey during the shutdown era, had a wee bit of the women's tag, obviously left, showed up in New Japan, winning the IWGP Women's Championship, sadly got injured in the Strong Women's Final against Willow Nightingale, then debuting at AEW Big Business. Really, the whole sea is our oysters speaking, there's so much opportunity for her within AEW. But with Mercedes as well, the old IWC, how they ever are, they can't seem to get off their keyboards. There's Mountain Dew everywhere, Cheeto dust everywhere. I mean, really, guys, invest in a Hoover is really good and affordable. I implore you to do that. I would love to know your thoughts on Mercedes taking that chance on herself. Trinity took it as well, which went to TNA, but Mercedes really took that chance of her doing stuff in Japan and now being signed to All Elite Wrestling. Your thoughts on Mercedes, taking that chance on herself?
It's really inspiring, because I feel like being in WWE, it's something that's um, something irreplaceable, because I feel like if you're a starting up wrestler, that's always going to be one of the biggest goals ever. So for her to be able to build up even bigger dreams and to believe in herself enough to achieve all these, even after achieving everything else she has behind her, I think that's something that should we everyone should see as inspiring, instead of her being I don't know the negative words they used to talk about her. But I think that's really inspiring, and that kind of self-belief is something I hope I get to achieve one day too.
Absolutely, I believe you will achieve that as well, because I've seen from the the Instagram of Wrestlefest, people love and have that connection with your style. So I think you're definitely going to be up there as well, Roxy, of course. Now with Mercedes and being in AEW, there's so many great talent in there for her to have matches against. Obviously, Willow Nightingale has a history with, Saraya has a history with, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Mariah May, Tony Storm. So many great women talent in there as well. With Mercedes in that women's division, Roxy, is there any other kind of matches you would love to see Mercedes have within AEW?
I really want to finish the Willow story. It was a really good one.
Yeah, that is a good one as well. I mean, obviously, at the time we are recording this, tomorrow night will be AEW Dynasty, where Willow has a chance to gain the TBS title off Julia Hart. Now, if she does gain that opportunity to gain that title, Double or Nothing is looking like it's Mercedes going to step up for that title. How would you like to see the story end between Mercedes and Willow? Should Willow walk out with the TBS championship? Or is it time for the CEO to make it rain and gain a title in AEW?
I feel like I'm biased to say Mercedes, of course. But either way, I think whichever way it goes, I feel like it's going to be a really cool ending, though. I feel like they would tell a really cool story.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure, Mr. Meltzer himself will be throwing out those 5-star ratings. It may not be in the Tokyo Dome, but it's still a good venue. Throw out the stars, Meltzer. Come on, we stars. Now, also, we mentioned in the intro, Roxy, Dubai's first female homegrown wrestling talent as well. Dubai in itself is a lovely country. I've had family go over there for sporting events in the past, and I've always been a bit jealous just because I'm broke and I can't afford it. I would love to know Dubai's culture with wrestling. How is that? Is it quite a strong thing, or is it wrestling within Dubai has been something very recent?
It's something recent, to be honest. I know that they had smaller shows in the past, but I don't think it wasn't. I don't think it was anything like Wrestlefest. I'm so sorry. Okay. I don't think it was anything like Wrestlefest, but um yeah, it's been pretty recent. I think they've had WrestleFest for 2 years now.
Hmm.
They had the anniversary show in March, I think.
Wow.
So it's been really great, actually, and it's growing like a lot faster than everyone anticipated.
Hey, that's great to see. More wrestling for everybody is just a great thing in itself. And also, you mentioned Wrestlefest, a great company for what I've seen. A lot of Scottish talent and UK talent, even US talent, have gone over to wrestle for Wrestlefest. For our viewers who might not be familiar with Wrestlefest in its entirety, can you just give us a brief history on Wrestlefest?
So it's, I don't know. Um, so we have, I think, like 15 people in the roster, and we have a lot more trainees getting to come up with us now. And
Hmm.
recently, we've started to have academy shows as well, to be able to have the trainees be comfortable being on shows, and to for them to get out of their shells and form their characters, form and find who they are in the ring. And I think WrestleFest is just these people trying to help each other be able to live their dreams. And for example, for me, as right now I'm still the only girl in the roster, you'd expect it to be much harder for me, but all the guys make it a lot simpler for me. They help me as much as I can, as much as they can, and they, if they see me struggling in something, they'll come up to me, even though I should be the one coming up to them and say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" If they notice that I'm struggling, they'll come up to me instead. And I think that that's something really important for everyone to um, be aware of what the other people in the roster are struggling with. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's just a family thing, to be honest.
Oh, hey, well, that's good. A sense of family and community helps people thrive, and that's amazing to see. And also, you mentioned being the women on the roster. Do you feel like you're now laying the groundwork for maybe future female wrestlers within Dubai who want to get into the business?
I hope so. It's so there is this little girl that comes to our shows, and I heard that she wants to be a wrestler, and she said that she'll only come to class if I'm in the class with her. And I think that's so sweet, and I hope that me being on the shows inspires more little girls like that, and more women my age, women that are older than me. I hope that I get to show them that they can do it. That just because they're scared doesn't mean that they shouldn't do it. Everyone has doubts, and just because you have doubts doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that you care enough. So, yeah. And I'm hoping that this also opens up more doors for people outside of the country to want to come work with us, because I love working with the guys, but working with women is also very different, and it's so fun.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, Rox, maybe we have to put Trailblazer as one of your taglines for what you're going to be building there in Dubai. That'll be something as well. But obviously, opening up with WrestleFest for people to come over to Dubai, beautiful country in itself. And I know a lot of people have came over. I know Leighton Buzzard has came over in the past. Axel Tischer, who was part of Sanities, came over. When international wrestlers come over to Dubai, how is it that they find about it? Because I feel like with wrestling, with every country it's in, from Japan to Scotland to America to Mexico, its culture of wrestling is very different of how crowds react or how crowds connect to a wrestler. So when international wrestlers come over to Dubai, how do they find wrestling in Dubai?
I think for well, for the ones that I have met and have been around backstage, I think they really like it because the fans that we have, they connect with the international wrestlers so fast. Even if this is for the first time that they see this person, they will have chance where they ask for them to come back. They easily love these people, and they become very supportive of them. And it's like, I don't know how to say it, but the crowd in Dubai is very welcoming, and they love seeing new faces. As much as they support the local people, they love us, but they're also very welcoming and hospitable to new people. And I think that's really cool because one of my fears, for example, is if I ever get to wrestle outside, is to get nothing from the crowd, for them to not care who I am. The crowd here, they will care. They will they will wish that you come back. They will love to meet you after the match. So I think that's really cool.
Hey, absolutely. It's building that connection and getting reaction and building entertainment at the end of the day, because that's what, you know, wrestling and every other medium is in this day and age. It's about being entertained and, most importantly, having fun. And outside of Dubai, you know, is there a particular country in your mind that you really want to come and wrestle for?
The Philippines, of course.
Wow.
And
Ooh.
Japan would be really cool too. Mexico, but of course, my home country, the Philippines.
Wow, I must say, you know, I'm not too familiar with the Philippines wrestling scene. Could you educate me? What's wrestling like in the Philippines?
I think they're recent as well, but they're starting to grow because I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram, and I'm hoping that I get to go maybe this year or next year, because they have these really cool names that I've been seeing. And there's this one specific woman in the roster. Her name is Crystal, I think, and she's so cool. But I watch her stuff on Instagram, or I see stuff on YouTube, and she's really cool. I hope I get to meet her one day.
Ooh, the Roxxy Trailblazing World Tour is on its way, and that's going to be, move over, Taylor Swift. Your Eras tour is in the past. This is the real world tour that everyone's going to be excited for. And obviously with Wrestlefest as well, there was somebody who caught my eye who done a bit of training, who's appeared on the shows. Shaheen, the essence of Dubai. I know he's now doing stuff in the New Japan LA dojo. For our viewers who might not be too familiar with Shaheen, and how important is he to Dubai wrestling?
He's so important. I don't know how to say it, but he pulls us all together. And even in training, he's the one that teaches us mostly. We have another coach, Sam, but Shaheen teaches the advanced and the intermediates. So he's someone that will make you want to be better. And he's someone that will push you to places that you don't even think that you can go to. And yeah, he's really cool. And if you don't know him, you should.
Hey, folks, we've been taught and we've been told, definitely got to learn about the essence of Dubai here. Also, you know, he's went over and done stuff in LA dojo for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and New Japan, you know, they really build some stars like of Okada, Naito, Osprey, and Minoru Suzuki, and so many others. Was there any lessons that Shaheen got from New Japan that he brought back to Dubai that really stuck with you?
For technical stuff, he has made training a lot harder. he The difference between how we used to train before he went to LA to now is the difference is so big. And we have these drills and these protocols that we have to do now, and it's for the better, of course, but it's so tiring but so fun. And for mental things, I don't know, it's just I think he knows what he expects out of us a lot better now as well. And I think he pushes us a lot harder. He knows how to help us better. And I think that's one of the biggest things that he's got out of the experience from LA.
Wow, hey, it's always
He
great to
did-
learn.
I'm sorry,
No,
but yeah,
no,
he
hey.
doesn't. He doesn't keep the things that he learned to himself. He shares it with everyone.
Hey, good to hear. An open book, allowing that knowledge that one can gain being passed on and passed on and passed on. Honestly, amazing stuff to see. And obviously, within WrestleFest, I need to talk about something because obviously you've faced a previous guest of the show of mine. You've faced Scotland's own Jay-Z Jenkins in the past. I know
Yeah.
you're going to be facing her on Monday, I'm correct, for WrestleFest as well. I want to know from yourself, Daisy has been lauded here within the Scottish scene, a lot of people praising her. Having her come over to Dubai and getting a chance to wrestle her, I got to know what's it like wrestling Daisy in Dubai?
It's really cool. I think she was the first international wrestler that I ever wrestled, and the first women's match I had ever.
Wow.
And she helped me be more comfortable and be more confident. And she would help me. For example, when we were training, she would tell me these little things that I needed to fix. She would help me and be like, listen, you need to be more energetic. You need to be more comfortable in yourself. And she's just really helpful. She guided me during our first match, and I'm sure that she'll guide me again this upcoming one. And I'm really excited to fight her again.
Well, that's absolutely grand as well. Obviously you're both guests of the show, so I ain't gonna pick a winner. I'm staying neutral. I don't want to get in the way because that's the bad thing that's happened on this show. So neutrality is my key. But obviously, Daisy, you mentioned being obviously the first international and first women match for you as well. Knowing you were going to have that opportunity of a first women's match when you've been wrestling men in the past, did it feel like now it's finally time to step up and show up? Did it feel like now I feel like a women's wrestler, or the thoughts of knowing that you were going to face a women's wrestler for the first time in Dubai?
I feel like it made me want to step up even more because when I was wrestling the guys, I feel like it gave me some sense of comfort because I knew that I could trust them. I knew that they could carry me. I knew that they would help me in ways that, for example, if I forgot something, they would help me.
Mhm.
They would make sure that I was safe. But with someone that I haven't known for a while and someone that's also a woman, I feel like it made me put in my brain that, okay, listen, this is something new. This is something that is supposed to send a message. This is something that gives you something to push for so that more women come, more international people want to come and help the show be put out into the world. I think it made me want to be better and be worth for someone to want to fight me. And I feel like that's something really special because um, I was really surprised that when they told me that I was going to wrestle someone from outside, especially as someone who wasn't that experienced yet, for them to trust me and to believe that, oh, she can handle that. We can trust her to fight someone that will fly into the country. It was a really big push, I think.
Oh, see, I'm saying it again, trailblazer. You're making the path. Path is being laid when you skateboard down it and make sure it is laid perfectly. That path, christened as Roxxy Roll or something like that. I don't know. It's going to be amazing. Get it on a t-shirt. You'll be selling loads as well. That'll be beautiful to see. But with Dubai as well, we've been seeing a lot of international shows. WWE have been doing Backlash in France. They're going to come to Scotland for Clash at the Castle. And obviously AEW, they came over for Wembley last year. They're coming again this year. I want to know, Roxy, as a wrestler based in Dubai, what would it mean for you to see a big company like a WWE, AEW, a TNA, or even in New Japan make that leap and bring a show, maybe a PLE or maybe even a house show to Dubai?
I think it would be really cool and special because I feel like anyone who's into wrestling and anyone who comes to wrestling shows, it's just them letting the little kid inside of them live something out that they've been watching through the screen. And if these companies choose to come to Dubai or to UAE, I feel like they'd just be giving these little children inside of us a chance to be children again and just watch something that made us feel really happy, made us connect to these people through the screen. And I hope they do come. That would be really cool.
Hey, Triple H, TK, Anthem Sports, guys, Bushy Road, get into gear. Come on. There's fans and scenes out there in the beautiful country of Dubai who want to see you come over, and I have no doubt they will turn up and absolutely put on a show. Come on, guys, that's something we need to see as well. Roxxy, honestly, it's been a pleasure having you here on the Soul Sessions and getting to learn about yourself and Dubai and Wrestlefest. So I want to propose one final question here for your appearance. Let's say Mercedes Mone herself comes over to Dubai and you get a chance to wrestle her. But let's say you get to pick the stipulation of that match. So I want to know, what stipulation would you pick for your match against Mercedes Mone?
I've always wanted to be a part of a match with weapons. They're really cool. And the thing is, this is something I've told my friends. I've always told them that I want to be power bombed through a table. It sounds really cool. And so yeah, I think I would choose one with weapons.
Roxxy, fair play to you. I mean, I would do that, but this is an expensive suit, and I'm starting to burst out. Really start trimming the fat here because this thing is expensive. But Roxxy, it's been a pleasure having you here on the Soul Sessions. But you know what? The mind is still going, so I'm going to wrap up with one final question. Let's say next year, by the end of next year, a lot of more international stars came over to Dubai and more female stars coming over. And let's say, it's before a show and you're all having a huddle and you're putting on this show for women's wrestling. What would you like to see achieved for women's wrestling in Dubai, knowing that you could maybe have more female stars coming over, more representation, and the word of Dubai and Wrestlefest and just wrestling in general in Dubai being more wide and world knowledge? What would that mean to you to see women's wrestling become more prominent within Dubai, maybe by the end of next year?
What would it mean to me?
Yeah.
I think it would just make me really happy. It would make me feel like I did my job. I was able to live my dream and give someone else something out of it. And instead of just me living my dream, it's something that outroots to someone else's dream.
Mm-hmm.
I would just feel really proud of myself and everyone else that we were able to. Okay. I would, for example, if after the show, a little girl comes up to us and is like, I'm going to go to training with you guys next week. I feel like that would really set a tone for us, and it would make us not want to stop pushing and proving that women are just as good. Women are just as capable. I just want at least one person to realize I never expected for the woman to show me that, oh shit, they did what this guy did and maybe even better. That would be just what I want out of one day like that.
I have no doubt, you can bring that vision to life by the end of next year. And I'm sure Wrestlefest, Dubai itself will be a hotspot for wrestlers internationally. Of course, when they get to face Roxxy herself in the ring, that will be their crowning moment. Well, Roxxy, thank you very much for coming here for another episode of the Soul Sessions. And folks, if you want to see more of Roxxy's journey within Dubai and then when she goes on our trailblazing world tour, I will put her Instagram link of the description of this video. You can click it, follow her journey as well. I will also post a link to Wrestlefest's Instagram link so you can see that promotion grow. And then wrestling worldwide will grow. Well, Roxxy, thank you so much for appearing here on the Soul Sessions. Folks, you can put down your drink, you can take away your chair, go off of your day, because thank you. And remember to stay tuned for more episodes of the Soul Session.